Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thanks so much for being here. This is Silver Slayer. Huge news broke today, folks. You're always going to get the newest, latest, freshest, most up to date, recent information in the world of silver. So make sure you subscribe. Don't miss my giveaway. I promise you will regret it once you see what the prize pool is. Now, Australian researchers got paid $45 million to study alternative solar panel materials. Why is this such a big deal? Well, this acknowledges not only that silver is needed abundantly across the globe for solar panels, EVs, 5G towers, everything that requires technology as we advance in this new digital era, but that they are also noting the supply deficit and why they need an alternative. I've always mentioned this, that it's not realistic that the entire world can go green with the amount of silver we have, especially when you incorporate everything that silver is needed for. This is just solar panels. The EV sector is just as big, if not more. I mean, every automobile company by the year 2030 is going electric. So think of this. Think of this. What would happen if we don't have enough silver to pull that zero net emissions by the year 2040? What would happen? And I've always talked about they're going to find alternatives, whether that's innovation of mining out of the Earth's crust, whether that's recycling. But what about trying to cut down the amount of silver in each EV or each solar panel? Right now, it's about 54 grams of silver in each EV. They're trying to cut it down to 23. But what if they just took out silver entirely? Is that possible? No. Silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity. Nothing is even a close second. Copper is sort of in terms of conductivity, but copper's much, much lower quality, and it wouldn't even be possible. But this article did break that they're trying to find some type of alternative, and that's because um, increasing manufacturing capacity and a shift to more abundant and cheaper metals. Keywords abundant, right? Because silver is scarce. You guys could try to say all you want that the silver shortage is a myth, but I've gone over the numbers, folks. I know how much is produced every year. I know what the demand is every year. I know how much we're going to need in the next 10 years, and it just doesn't add up. 1 plus 1 does not equal 4. We are trying to live in this delusion, this illusion that it's possible, but it simply isn't. And until we realize that, we are just wasting time to find an alternative. But it looks like they are finally looking for alternatives here. So, the Albanese government has extended funding for Australia's world leading solar energy scientists as they race to increase panel efficiency and shift to more abundant materials before constraints on silver and other metals hobble the industry's growth. And that's it, right? Silver is going to hobble the industry's growth because we don't have enough silver to grow the industry. I mean, 1 plus 1 equals 2, not 6. I'm glad that people are finally realizing this. And when I talk about triple digit silver, I'm not talking about today. I'm not talking about tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. When I talk about triple digit silver, I say by the year 2026 to 2027, late 26, early 27. And that is because by then we will be deep into the green revolution. By then, the world will be mainly flooded with solar technology. By then, electric vehicles will almost be all, every automobile company will be almost going electric by then. By then, the silver shortage will be blatantly obvious. Right now, it can still be swept under the rug. People can still try to say, well, this is. No. Right now, it still can be swept. It can be deceived as people are just crazy that don't understand it. And time again, I've shown data that it is real and that we are going to get hit by a ton of bricks if we are not trying to figure out a solution. Now, I say the year 2027 because it'll be blatantly obvious by then, and people will realize how critical of a metal silver truly is and why it is so valuable. Its natural value will shine beyond gold. Silver will take on a life of its own beyond gold because gold isn't used in technology. I mean, a small portion of it is, but gold's mainly a monetary metal. Silver is mainly an industrial metal. There's a small percentage or portion of silver that's used in jewelry and stuff, but it's mainly used for technology. So, and I wanted to say something else too. They could try to replace silver, but the life expectancy would be nowhere near. Windmills don't even last, 5, 10 years. If they try to replace silver, they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot. I feel like this is their first ditch effort to try to control the inevitable. Nothing can replace silver. Copper can't. No other metal can. We're talking about elements on the periodic table. We can't just find some new metal that's better than silver or can work even close to it. There's a reason why gold and silver have been valuable, the two most valuable metals since the beginning of man. Actually, silver was more valuable than gold in ancient times because silver can purify water. Silver literally purifies water. It has antimicrobial properties. Silver responds to other elements like no other metal. Gold, nothing is even close to silver in terms of its efficiency and technology. So they can try, send them $45 million, they can try, but the only alternative or the only solution that makes sense to me is trying to reduce the amount of silver and try to recycle more silver right now. Yes, space mining eventually will be a thing, whether you want to acknowledge it or not or believe it or not. Space mining will. I mean, there's a NASA sent out a rover this year to head to this asteroid that has $500 quintillion worth of precious metals. That's a real story. I made a 3-part docu-series on it. The asteroid arrives by the year 2026 near Earth. And do you think they'll be able to mine that asteroid by then? No, but they're going to try, and I'm sure in the next, 20, 30 years they will be able to. But regardless, right now they need to fix this problem and either reducing the amount of silver or or finding another way to get more silver, which would be recycling since most silver is thrown away in technology. Those are the only two options. So, anyways, the Australian Renewable Energy Agency will announce on Friday it will grant $45 million over the next 8 years to the University of NSW based Australian Centre for Advanced Photovoltaics, which which are PV cells, which has silver in them, which is solar panels. Most of the money will be spent within the first 5 years. The money will ensure as many as 60 scientists will retain funding, although the annual funding is at about the rate of previous 10-year grant. And I guarantee that this study is all focused on silver. I can guarantee it's all focused on silver because it's the silver shortage which is so critical, and silver is what's used in photovoltaics, which is this is the Center for Advanced Photovoltaics. This company is recognizing the silver shortage. Maybe other companies do and they just don't want to admit it, but this company is playing it smart because other companies aren't or aren't even taking action on this yet, and it's going to be too late when they do. I mean, this company's already too late, but at least these people are trying to figure out a solution, at least making an effort. So Australia has all the ingredients to become a renewable energy superpower with this government working to collab, to ensure or secure affordable and reliable energy that drives down emissions, right? Zero net emissions by the year 2040. And that's from the energy minister, Chris Bowen, which said it's a global race. And we've, for a long time, been at the front of that, which they actually are with this information coming out, and been able to attract people internationally. And that's still the case. So, Australian researchers have pioneered a range of solar technologies with as much as 90% of the world's annual panel production drawing on that pedigree. And here's another thing. Scientists are figuring out more and more uses for silver. They actually found out a way to make silver 40% stronger without losing any electrical conductivity. Sorry. 40% stronger. So it's only looking like silver is the answer right in front of their face. They just need to learn how to innovate silver, use less of it, still keep it as efficient. I mean, that's the answer. Don't find another metal. There isn't anything. You got to focus on silver. Don't steer away from it. Silver is the most amazing, mind-blowing, magical metal, which back in the day, they actually thought silver was magic. They thought it was magical because it could purify water. You drop milk and you drop silver in milk, it makes the milk last longer. I mean, they actually thought silver was magical. It is magical. Why not? Why steer away from the answer? Right? It's right in front of your face. So, anyways, the next decade promises to be the most exciting and important in solar photovoltaics ever, with massively increased uptake and technological change. The global demand exceeded 1.12 billion ounces this year. Imagine, like they say, in the next decade, right? In the next decade promises. Imagine what the demand will be by then. 4 billion ounces, 5 billion. I mean, I can't imagine. I just watched something on TV the other day where these really poor countries, even like deep in Africa, they are all their communities are solar now. Like solar, it's flooding the world, and that's all silver. It's all silver. So if you think that we have a demand of 3-4 billion ounces, and that's going to be realistic to keep up with the amount of silver we're producing or the amount of silver that gets thrown away, you're not living. You're living in fantasy land. So the next decade promises to be the most exciting and important change. Egan said solar energy now provides 3 to 4% of global electricity and about 15% in Australia. We need to take that to over 50% here and internationally to enable the transition of fossil fuels and limit the impacts of heating the climate. Impacts of a heating climate, sorry. We're really only just beginning on the solar technology development. The extended research would help ARENA meet its goals of mass production of solar cells within a 30% efficiency at a cost of 30 cents a watt by 2030. Panels on the market now can operate with 23 to 24% efficiency at the cost of about 70 cents a watt. Achieving those goals will not be easy. The new funding will work on so-called tandem cells that stack 2 or more layers of material to capture more energy of the spectrum of light to operate more durably, particularly under high temperatures. We know it's possible. I'm not going to go into all the scientifics of it. Anyways, the PV industry consumes about 10% of the world's silver. And see, now they're talking about silver. I bet you they don't mention any other metal in this except for silver. And just think of this. PV industry consumes 10%, right? And think about how much silver they need alone. But think about then 5G towers. Think about silver lithium ion batteries. Think about electric vehicles. Think about everything. Laptops, cell phones. There's colloidal silver in the medical world. I mean, it's used in everything, even wall paint. I mean, SpaceX, it's just there's so much silver. And I don't see it being possible. And I keep saying that because it's just not. It baffles my mind that people actually think it's realistic. So we can't double and double it, otherwise we're using 50% of the world's silver. And that would clearly create a supply bottleneck and a price change. There you go. The answer's right there. Right? They're gonna need more and more and more. And that would clearly create a supply bottleneck and a price challenge, right? Because then that would push the price up, which means their cost of production would go up because silver is more expensive, which that's a whole separate video I can go off of, like Elon Musk being the mascot. But, imagine, and Mike Maloney even sent a letter to Elon Musk talking about, since he owns SpaceX and Tesla and Solar City, if he, and even goes into the equation of this. He says, you say you're going to produce this many Teslas by the year 2030. If you're buying silver now at $50, that's $840 something million. But if you wait till silver hits $50 or $100, whatever, that's 3.14 billion. And he was saying like you got to be getting into silver because if you wait, you're going to be screwed. But that Elon Musk's just a mascot. I mean, think of every other company too, you know? So, anyways, the center will also look to collaborate more to develop manufacturing capacity in Australia. At 4 gigawatts of panels being installed annually, the local market is nearing the volumes necessary to justify onshore production. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss any other information. I think that's all the important stuff. But if you want to read this article, I always link all my articles in the description. They're kind of just going more into the PV, market. But yeah, this is huge news. I hope you guys understand how big of news this is. This is one of the biggest solar panel companies admitting that there's a silver shortage and that they need to find another alternative because they said themselves, if we keep using more silver, that is going to cause a silver shortage. They what was the word? They said clearly. They said this will clearly create a silver shortage. Where's that word? I think it's like yeah, we can't double and double it. Otherwise, we're using 50% of the world's silver, and that's just solar panels, not everything else. And that would clearly create a supply bottleneck and a price challenge. And by then, I think that would be around the year 2026, 2027. And that's when that price challenge would hit. But I don't think they can find a solution without doubling it. So, yeah, anyways, let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Go enter my giveaway. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.